Jake Paul fight. What is your reaction when you see that?
I don't really know where to go with this subject because if I say something, I'm going to get backlash.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah, tell him this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up?
Floyd Mayweather has broken his silence on the rumored fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis, and he didn't hold back. As expected, he dismissed the buzz surrounding Jake Paul's showmanship and made it clear that Tank Davis remains one of the most dangerous names in boxing right now.
Chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into Chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in the sport. But people hold the Tommy Fury thing against me, but what now? I just beat a former world champion, and I'm coming to avenge that loss as well with Tommy.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
With his trademark confidence, Floyd made it clear, Jake Paul may know how to turn online fame into cash, but facing someone like Gervonta Davis in the ring is a completely different challenge.
Something I'm going to get backlash because,
Okay.
you know, no matter what I say, it's not.
Okay. So you can't
It's
say
not right. But well, basically, when you're watching boxing for free, you can have millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah.
But when you're watching Floyd Mayweather, you have to pay.
It's real.
So, I mean, I did pay-per-view numbers.
Floyd Mayweather has often taken aim at Jake Paul's boxing journey, doubting whether he can actually compete with real professionals. Over and over, Floyd has said the same thing, Jake still hasn't fought a true boxer, and when that day comes, it won't go in his favor. While Mayweather admits Jake has done well against former MMA fighters, he's firm that stepping into the ring with an experienced boxer is a whole different level.
He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know where his mindset's at.
It get fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry. It's TMT.
You can curse.
I apologize, but
no apologize about.
There's no way he get demolished.
As soon as Jake Paul was linked to a possible fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, reactions poured in from all corners of the boxing world. Fighters and analysts had split views. Some completely rejected the idea, saying it hurts the sport's credibility, while others worried about what it means for boxing's future. Still, a few pointed out that, for better or worse, a fight like this brings big money and media buzz, something the business side of boxing pays close attention to.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You could knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you were saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
The idea of Gervonta Davis fighting Jake Paul has sparked major backlash. Many critics are calling it a joke and say it could damage Davis's legacy. One fan on Essentially Sports called the matchup pure insanity, blasting the idea of Tank jumping from 135 to 195 pounds and accusing Jake Paul of trying to cash in on Davis's name. Veteran analyst Paulie Malignaggi added that Davis has avoided top contenders and mostly fought hand-picked opponents. Lightweight champ Shakur Stevenson was even more direct, saying it would be a slap in the face to boxing if Tank chose hype over a real title fight. Overall, fans and experts agree, there's more risk than reward in chasing headlines instead of real challenges.
What's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to cover this because there's no way it's real. There's no way they're really going to do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion.
Shakur Stevenson has strongly criticized the idea of Gervonta Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul before facing him. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, Shakur said it's unfair, not just to him but to boxing as a whole. Tank is disrespecting the sport if he picks Jake Paul over me, he said. Stevenson is clearly upset that Davis might pass on a real unification bout, the kind that builds true legacies, to fight a YouTuber in an exhibition. He also called out Tank for claiming he's the best, saying that words don't matter. If Davis really wants to prove it, he needs to step in the ring with serious challengers, not outsiders.
Didn't say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Gervonta Davis's view of Jake Paul has definitely changed over time. At first, he dismissed Paul as just a loud internet star chasing attention and mocked his role in boxing. Even as Paul got serious about training, Davis stayed skeptical. But by late 2023, Tank began to acknowledge Paul's mental and physical toughness, though he still didn't see him as a top-level boxer. After Davis's controversial draw with Lamont Roach, he quietly suggested that a fight with Paul might actually happen. It was a surprising shift that showed Davis now respects Paul's dedication and massive fan base, even if he knows there's still a big gap in skill and weight between them.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake? Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be in a box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Jake Paul gained serious respect in the boxing world after his impressive win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The fight in Anaheim broke the venue's gate record, even beating events headlined by stars like Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia, proving Paul's drawing power is real. Big names in boxing are starting to take him seriously. Oscar de la Hoya now sees him as a legit contender and even said Paul might one day compete for a world title. Manny Pacquiao also gave him credit, saying that despite any doubts, Paul's dedication to the sport is clear. Analysts backed that up, praising how he controlled the fight and stayed calm under pressure.
Just fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Yeah. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this. A lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself.
Jake Paul has officially announced a new chapter in his boxing career, one focused on taking on real, professional fighters. After his win over Andre August, Paul said he's done with crossover and MMA matchups and is now fully committed to the traditional boxing route. In a CNN interview, he made it clear that he wants to face tough opponents, especially when he's the underdog, to prove himself in the ring. His recent interviews all carry the same message. He's ready to leave the spectacle behind and build a serious legacy by going up against credible, high-level competition.
So everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who's the most enticing to you?
I don't know, like, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and it's another win for Jake Paul. He was greeted with boos post-fight after winning his 6th straight fight, calling out anyone and everyone requesting multiple title shots in a possible rematch with Tommy Fury. Jake claims he's just getting warmed up. This was just his 13th professional boxing fight. Back here with Brian Campbell, Danny Vitlani. BC, what did you see? What are your takeaways from this latest bout from Jake Paul?
It kind of depends on what we're judging him. If we're judging Jake Paul as a future cruiserweight title challenger, I'd have to say he has a long way to go. But going 10 rounds against a former champion, even if that former champion is a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was 39 years old and really 13 years or so removed from credibility in the ring, at least Jake had to go 10 hard rounds, which was an improvement from some of the 8-round fights he's had earlier. And he had to fight off a somewhat stiff challenge late from a Chavez who pretty much took the first 4 rounds off completely of this fight and really took a long time to heat up and finally get going. I don't mean to be a hater here, but you do have to judge with some knowledge compared to the rest of boxing. It's one thing to be the best celebrity fighter in the world. It's another thing to legitimately climb the ladder and fight for.
Logan Paul has always backed his brother Jake throughout his boxing journey. He admires Jake's dedication and how he keeps proving the critics wrong. Despite starting in an unconventional way and facing a lot of doubt, Jake's focus and smart approach have helped him build a solid 11-1 record. Logan often says that Jake's willingness to face tough opponents sets him apart in the sport. While the path hasn't been smooth, Logan sees his brother's success as a result of real determination and grit, a sign of how far Jake has come and the respect he's earned in boxing.
My brother has an 11-1 boxing record. The one came from a guy by the name of Tommy Fury.
Yeah, watch that fight.
Jake, obviously, super hungry kid, wants to avenge that loss, but Tommy won't take the fight.
When I lost to Matt Serra, I was obsessed of revenge. So one of the sport psychologists, he made me take a brick and wrote the name Serra on it. So he made me carry a freaking brick in my training bag. Until the point I couldn't take it anymore. He made me go to the Saint Laurent River and he made me throw the brick. When I did this, it kind of releases me. But my point is that it's awful and it must stink like fucking crazy. But you need to focus on the next task, because that could be a big mistake.
Before a possible showdown with Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis is set for a major rematch against Lamont Roach Jr. in August 2025 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Their first meeting, which took place in March in Brooklyn, ended in a controversial majority draw that allowed Davis to keep his WBA lightweight title, despite a questionable moment in the 9th round. Although the New York State Athletic Commission stood by the result, the decision sparked debate and increased pressure for a more decisive outcome. Now, both fighters are ready to settle the score, setting the stage for one of the year's most talked about bouts.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident. Because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he gonna go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much, you was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up. Because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that like got to step back from the situation. That's why I think he being hushed right now. Because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning. Like when he was with Floyd, like I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he's just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to just change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this before. And Lamont, I see your mindset. You keep nagging about that win you should have got. Focus on the new fight. Stop talking about I should have won. You know why? You know why he's feeling like that? Because that's like one in a lifetime. He feel like nobody got that close. I should have took the belt right there. Now I ain't gonna never get that shot again, because he know that boy Tank done buckled up, done cleaned up his mess, and he ready to go. And it's not the same. It's not the same Tank. You mean Tank? You done gave Tank enough time to think about who you are as a boxer and break you down. Yeah, he's cooked. Remember I told y'all what's gonna happen in August. He's cooked. And I feel like Tank, he walking him down. Like, yeah, watch this. I'm about to make an example, because Tank gonna want to be able to tell everybody that.
Jake Paul has confirmed that if Gervonta Davis wins his upcoming rematch with Lamont Roach, discussions for a 10-round exhibition between them will resume. Even with the significant weight difference, Paul being a cruiserweight and Davis a lightweight, the matchup is still on the table. Talks were close to wrapping up before Davis's draw with Roach put things on hold. Now, if both fighters win their next bouts, the exhibition could take place later this year.
Me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real, or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you're always up to date with the latest news. Stay tuned and be part of the community.